Some of the states in the United States are sticking it to the US citizens as far as paying tuition for their students going to college. Let me tell you one thing basic. You are having two types of tuition. Most states have this. It's called as in-state tuition and out-of-state tuition. What in-state means, if they are born in California and if they study in a university or college in California, they are called in-state and they have a slightly lower rate, in fact half usually. And out of state is almost twice or sometimes even more than that. And those are the people who don't reside in California, but they are choosing to go to school in California. Now, what has happened is there's a new wrinkle that has shown up here, and this is really, really concerning. And Texas has already acted on it, but many other states are pushing back, including California. By the time you're done watching this, your head's going to spin because you are being punished for being a US citizen, for being a law-abiding US citizen, for being a rule-obeying US citizen. I'm sorry, my blood is boiling because this is just not fair. This is just not fair. Here we go. As always, a request to all of you to like this video. I have a lot of proof by way of reference links that you can see to understand what the situation is. It's going from bad to worse. Now, what has happened is Minnesota. This has become almost the most liberal, perhaps the worst of the states in terms of handling all these things. Let's see what happened in the state of Minnesota. The US Department of Justice has thrown down the legal gauntlet against Minnesota Governor Tim Walz over a program designed to offer financial aid to illegal immigrants pursuing higher education. On June 25th, 2025, the DOJ filed a 15-page complaint in Minnesota's federal court. Remember, I told you there is a federal court at the state level also. Supreme Court, state Supreme Court also exists. Targeting statutes that let undocumented immigrants, hear this thing, undocumented immigrants snag in-state tuition rates and financial aid through Minnesota DREAM Act and the North Star Promise Program. These are two different acts and there are two different governors, and we'll go into that in just a little bit. The feds argue that these laws violate 8 USC 1623A, this is the US Constitution, which bans states from giving post-secondary education benefits to undocumented immigrants unless US citizens get the same perks regardless of residency. This residency is that thing that I told you about, in-state and out-of-state. Minnesota's generosity is making out-of-state Americans feel like they are paying for the VIP section while others sneak in for free. So the whole action starts in 2013 with the Minnesota DREAM Act. The DREAM Act was signed under the then governor Mark Dayton. This law lets undocumented students who have attended Minnesota high school for 3 years, graduated or earned a GED, which is General Educational Development, registered for selective service, and what that is, you have to go and read the links, and applied for lawful immigration status, qualify for in-state tuition and state financial aid. For 24-25, that is the last couple of years, in-state tuition at the University of Minnesota was $17,214, while out-of-state students coughed up $38,362. You see, it's more than twice. Now, in 2023, Tim Walz, this guy was a running mate of Kamala Harris, he passed a new law called the North Star Promise Program that offers free tuition and fees to students from families earning under $80,000 a year, including undocumented immigrants who meet residency requirements. Typically, residency requirement means you should have lived legally or illegally for 1 year. That's it. Unless some state has an even more specific residency requirement, this is usually the way it is. I keep saying this is usually because United States is literally United States. Each state has laws that are slightly similar and slightly different also. So you have to go state by state to be absolutely correct. I don't want to give you that for each state. I'm just giving you, if you are planning on applying to a particular state, to read up the laws of that state. Now, in 24-25, 139 DREAM Act students crowed $383,273.90 in scholarships. The DOJ calls this a discriminatory slap in the face of US citizens paying full price. Now, what was the DOJ's argument? Attorney General Pamela Bondi is leading the charge, declaring no state can treat Americans like second class citizens by offering financial benefits to illegal aliens. The DOJ claims Minnesota's laws create a tuition gap that is substantially unfair. Think like 26,000 for out of state tuition versus 12,000 for in state at public 4-year colleges. These things vary from college to college. They are citing a recent win in Texas where a similar law was scrapped hours after a DOJ lawsuit, and the pending case in Kentucky and believed to be also against California as proof that the DOJ is on a roll. So let's take a look at what happened in Texas, but that is separate. Let's take a look at what happened on this day. So the same day that this happened, there was a SC ruling, Supreme Court ruling, 6-3 GOP justices in the majority, limiting federal judges' ability to issue nationwide injunctions. You saw that. But then they found a loophole for that also. If there's a class action, they can still issue nationwide injunctions. I think the DOJ will probably be going back to the Supreme Court of the United States, seeking clarification, making sure that no freaking judge at district level can give nationwide injunctions. This is a joke. I'm telling you, this is a joke. This is a grave travesty of justice, in my opinion. This decision tied to Trump's birthright citizenship order, which would deny citizenship to 255,000 babies born annually to undocumented or temporary visa holders, weakens challenges to federal policies. This is going to be coming up in October 2025, and we will give you an update as to what happened there. Now let's get on to Texas. In Texas, what happened? On June 4th, 2025, the Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against Texas, targeting the Texas Dream Act. Each one has his own dream. House Bill 1403, enacted in 2001, which allowed undocumented students who graduated from a Texas high school and met residency requirements to pay in-state tuition at public colleges and universities. Within hours of the DOJ filing this lawsuit, the Texas Attorney General, Ken Paxton, filed a joint motion with the DOJ to declare the law unconstitutional. Same day. No surprise, right? Texas is Republican run. And U.S. District Judge Reed O'Connor issued a permanent injunction, effectively ending the policy. No more these freebies in Texas. Now, what was the background of this? The Texas Dream Act allowed undocumented students who lived in Texas for 3+ years, graduated from a Texas high school. See, the residency requirement here is 3+ years, and pledged to seek legal residency to qualify for in-state tuition. In-state tuition at the University of Texas, Austin, was $10,800 versus $40,500 for out of state, offering major financial relief. Of course, it's 4 times here. Yeah, I told you the number varies from university to university, and roughly 57,000 undocumented students benefited from the policy in Texas higher education institutions. So we have taken a look at Texas, we've taken a look at Minnesota. 2 more states remain: Kentucky and California. California, the major revelations just going to shock you. On June 17, 2025, the DOJ has been very, very busy. The DOJ filed a lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for Eastern District of Kentucky, challenging a regulation by the Kentucky Council on Post-Secondary Education, CPE, that allows undocumented students who graduate from Kentucky high schools to qualify for in-state tuition. Unlike Texas, Kentucky has not considered, and the case is ongoing, with the CPE reviewing the lawsuit and Governor Andy Beshear distancing himself from the policy. Interesting thing is, I believe, I'm not 100% sure, I believe Kentucky is Republican. Now, what is the policy background here in Kentucky? It was put in place before 2010, and it grants in-state tuition to undocumented students who meet residency requirements such as graduating from a Kentucky high school. See, again, the time period is not mentioned here, how long you have to stay in the state of Kentucky. At the University of Kentucky, in-state tuition for 2024-2025 was $20,638, less than the out-of-state rates, making the benefit significant. Now we come to the grand state of all, California. Do you know, viewers, of the 300,000 Chinese students studying in the United States, 50,000 are in California. And the interesting thing is there are three or four big schools. You see Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley, University of California at Los Angeles, University of California at San Diego. These all have 35,000 student body. And then there are similar size schools, private schools like University of Southern California. Then you have the UCs in Santa Barbara. You have an UC in Irvine. You have a UC in couple of other places. So these all have slightly smaller student body. So imagine what is happening. Today what is happening is even high achieving students are not getting admissions to any UC. Some of these things, like for example, Riverside wasn't a big school. It doesn't rank very high. Even there, they are not getting admissions. Why? Because the UCs appear to be favoring out-of-state students, because out-of-state students are paying 2 times or more than that of the fees. These fat cats want even more money. But that is a slightly different problem. There's also this problem that California has similar laws like the other states, which essentially underwrites the expenses of illegals who happen to claim some, who happen to satisfy some requirements. So let's take a look at what happened in California in 2001. Assembly Bill 540, the second state law after Texas to grant in-state tuition to undocumented students, and the California DREAM Act. Everybody has a version of this DREAM Act. This is all, Obama thing. They called them dreamers. The DACA, dreamer, something, 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 something. This is those children who are, children of illegal parents, who, if the illegal parents are evicted, there was a rule where I think the illegal parents could stay with the children because the children were born in the United States, DACA. So everybody comes up with their own version of the dream something something. So in 2011, California came up with a DREAM Act, which provides state financial aid and is similar to the policies targeted elsewhere. Advocates and students worry California could be next, given its large undocumented student population and progressive policies. Now, the AB 540 allows undocumented students who attended a California high school for 3 years and graduated to pay in-state tuition at public colleges. The act extends state financial aid, including Cal grants, to these students. At UC Berkeley, in-state tuition was $16,980 in 2024, significantly less than the out-of-state rates. If I remember correctly, the out-of-state is like 40 or something like that. Fairly high number, especially in UC Berkeley, UCLA. These two actually, compete in national ranks, and one goes up, the other goes down, and it depends upon which department and so on and so forth. But these two are very, very competitive. The University of California system has between 2,000 to 4,000 undocumented students. California State University has about 9,500. California State University is a system. I think there are more than a dozen state university colleges, and community colleges have around 70,000, 70. Well, what's going to happen next in Minnesota? Minnesota is going to fight this thing probably tooth and nail, with AG Keith Ellison's office gearing up for a legal brawl. The Texas case's quick resolution suggests Minnesota could face pressure to fold, but Walz's history leans towards defiance. Groups like MALDEF, FIAL, look it up on reference links, viewers, what these are, and the President's Alliance are mobilizing to defend these policies, potentially through lawsuits, public campaigns, or alternative funding. Stay tuned for more courtroom drama and political grandstanding. Who's next? Well, Minnesota is playing Santa Claus to illegal immigrants. The DOJ has not sued California, but its policies mirror those targeted in Texas, Kentucky, and Minnesota. Most likely they will. And then there are other states such as Arizona, Illinois, Maryland, New York, and others that have similar in-state tuition policies per the National Immigration Law Center. Whether this ends in a win for American citizens first or a defense of state-level inclusivity, it's a masterclass on how to turn college tuition into a national cage match. Very, very sad. Our American citizens are paying their taxes, abiding the laws and rules of the city and the state that they live in and the country, and they basically are being truthful. Then why is it that these states are sticking it to the US citizens. US citizens, you need to really think, especially if you vote Democrat. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Don't forget to click on the bell button for notifications. Namaskar.